I worked for a political consultant with the first Obama campaign.
What was that like working for Obama?
This guy went from working for the Obama campaign to now on a mission to revolutionize the world of AI. Meet Tommie Lo, the founder and CEO of Preface.
Preface is a fast content company. Why fast content? Because the world has been changing very rapidly, very quickly. We would like to bring very fast content for corporate and individuals so that they can navigate the fast changing world.
The company has quickly gained global recognition, being featured on Vice, Chinese television, and recently collaborating with major brands like Samsung. And I had the chance to visit their HQ in Hong Kong, where I was given a tour of the space, exploring each floor named after other cities they're in, like Singapore, Tokyo, and London. From its 5-floor layout and modern design, it was clear this was just a small part of the bigger picture. I then sat down with the visionary behind it all, Mr. Tommie Lo. Preface has built an entire ecosystem to sell their technology based on their 3 different brands. First one being PPS, Preface Professional Services, in which they provide monthly content to the government along with some of the top companies in the world.
For Fortune 500 company, 200 of them are our portfolio clients, including LVMH, HSBC, the top banks.
Then they have PST, Preface School of Technology, that provides weekly content for kids and students.
Particularly in Hong Kong, 60% of the schools are using our STEM content.
And lastly, the most interesting part of it all, PWC, Preface Coffee and Wine, for daily content consumption.
We sell coffee, but then we sell coffee with the tap bites, with the 10 news. If you get a cup of wine or coffee from us, you would know the latest like AI technology or AI news.
Okay, so we're out here in Hong Kong with today.
Tommie Lo from Preface.
Tommie, it's nice to meet you. Where are you from?
I'm from Hong Kong. Spent around 10 to 12 years in the States and London in between, but the most of my life have been in Hong Kong.
In Hong Kong, okay. And I want to know, why were you in the States to begin with?
It was for education. I had my college, university, and my first 2 jobs were in the States.
First few jobs in the States, okay. And what were you previously doing before Preface?
I have been a banker during the first wave of financial tsunami. And then I worked for a political consultant with the first Obama campaign.
With the Obama campaign there. Wow, so what was that like working for Obama?
Well, I seldom really like see him in person because it was during his first presidential campaign. But then I worked with a team to do sentiment analysis of the voters. So basically to gauge the voters' preference in different counties.
Okay, so what does that look like in simple terms for somebody who is not familiar with sort of that?
So I would say data analysis in nowadays, but then by that time there were no machine learning, no AI, but then it was like computer prediction. We were like kind of like predicting which stage, which county, the candidates say Obama will have like better votes or better popularity, then we'll give advice to the leadership team that they will make certain policy accordingly.
Wow, okay, so how much has it shifted with AI and with machine learning now?
I think it's a lot more data driven because by that time we were using phone to make phone calls to gauge your preference. Nowadays, if you can see, no matter from the stage or from other presidential campaigns, a lot of people are using social media, looking at the data, the interactions on the social media to make predictions.
Right, like we've seen this recent election, how much social media played a role in, swaying the votes and just popularity and all that, right?
Yes, exactly. In the end, it's more like human, right? So presidential campaigns work with the human interactions, and it's also somehow related to what we're doing recently. We're doing tech reskilling.
Okay, so I want to know, after that experience in the US, you came to Hong Kong in 2010. How can we make up where you are now from all of that, from that experience and into what Preface is today?
I actually did not directly come back to Hong Kong after the States. I went to London for my PhD after my job with the think tank because I did not have the green card. I didn't get into right house, so I opted for a PhD program in London. while I was doing that in London, I thought of what about doing a startup in education, so that I built an online tutorial platform in 2011, and I thought of, one biggest like tutorial market will be in Asia. So I will fly all the way back to Hancock.
Why? Okay. And then now you are here. How long has it been with Preface? How long has it been since you started it?
Well, it was Prologue. The first project was Prologue. We gained like 30,000 customers in Hong Kong, while the listed Blissco in Hong Kong by that time, the biggest tutorial company had 50,000. We have 60% of the population of the market from them. So that's why in the end I had an exit. I had an exit and moved on. And after that, I thought of, I still want to do ed tech, but then I want to do something more scalable and more modern and real history making, hopefully. So that's why I start Preface to, instead of like teaching tutorial classes, we teach technology.
Okay. So how can you explain what Preface is to someone watching this in super simple terms, someone who's not familiar with the educational, the AI sort of industry?
I would say Preface is a fast content company. Why fast content? Because the world has been changing very rapidly, very quickly. So we would like to bring very fast content for corporate and individuals so that they can navigate the fast changing world.
Okay, so how does that play out in a classroom? Let's say a teacher has an integrated AI or any of these sort of tools. Where do you guys come in?
So actually, we, because we generate content. After we generate the content, we sell the content to corporate and to individuals. And so can it be on? It can be online classes. It can be offline classes. It can be hybrid classes. Clients including corporate B2B. Say in for Fortune 500 company, 200 of them are our portfolio clients, including LVMH, HSBC, the top banks, hedge funds, and the retails. But then we also work with government, because when government wants to do technology reskilling, digital transformation, we bring in content to help the government to do the transformation. Also, schools could be our clients. We work with, say, particularly in Hong Kong, 60% of the schools are using our STEM content, like the science, technology, engineering content.
Oh, wow, really? And is it only in Hong Kong or also other areas?
At the moment, our headquarters is still in Hong Kong, but then we're growing in Singapore, London, and Tokyo.
Singapore, London, and Tokyo? Like you're still expanding out there right now?
Yeah, expanding. It looks like 2025, the expanding speed will be much faster.
Okay, and how long has it been again? What was the year when things sort of got going?
It was 2017 when we started Preface. Because the first project was named Polo, I exited 2016 and kind of like brings on what to do next after I exited. And 2017 we built Preface. 2018 we built the first Preface coffee shop. People thought that we're really selling coffee. Yes, we sell coffee, but then we sell coffee with the Tech Bites, with the Tech News. It's our daily content brand to provide daily content consumption.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask. Like we're at the headquarters here with the coffee shop, a bunch of other locations I see within the area. What's the strategy like for a coffee shop and your company? How do those sort of go hand in hand?
Yes, as I mentioned, Preface is a fast content company. We generate fast content. But after we generate fast content with the use of a real decentralized blockchain technology, then with the content, how do we sell it? We sell it with our three different brands. Our B2B brands, the Preface Professional Service, the, that provide monthly and quarterly content. So the target clients will be corporate and governments and schools. But then we also build our another brand, PST, Preface School of Technology, that provide weekly content for kids and individuals to learn technology on a weekly basis. But what about a daily basis? On a daily basis, we go to our brand called PC Dub. Indeed, it's called Preface Coffee and Wine, but then we build it for our daily content consumption. Let's say if you get a cup of wine or coffee from us, you would know the latest like AI technology or AI news. We call it tech bites. So that somehow, are you consuming a cup of coffee? Or are you consuming a tech news? So we deliberately blur that. So, but then that is our daily content consumption brand.
Okay, so if somebody were to enter this coffee shop, how would they become familiarized with what Preface is? More, of course, this is more than just a coffee shop. How could somebody,
They use our app to order coffee. So after they order coffee, then the blockchain news pop up, the AI news pop up. So that it's kind of the hands-off way of learning technology in a very like seamless, very like easy, friendly way. Because a lot of us might not accustomed to learn again. If you asked about the labor force, no matter in Hong Kong or London, when was the last time an individual happens to be in a classroom as a student, not as a speaker, not as a parent? Decades.
see, okay,
So when was the last time our audience could be in a coffee shop? Maybe yesterday, maybe this morning. So that's why we bring in the concept of what about coffee shop could be the right medium to deliver daily content. But once they have the awareness of this hands-off content, in case they want to learn more, go to our other arm, PST, the private school, in case they pay for themselves, that's B2C. In case the government or the companies are going to pay for their learning, that's our B2B, go to our another arm.
you guys have a whole ecosystem.
Yes, that in the end, I would say what really differentiates us is we have an ecosystem to support all different branch.
Okay, wow. So it really sounds like you guys are like way ahead of the curve, as in like maybe in the future, like more other companies will sort of catch up to this sort of business model. Would you think so?
I would say so, and so in the end, hopefully our core competence will be how fast that we generate like fast and validate content, and then the differentiation will be the how strong we build the ecosystem, so that we can totally see that maybe competition will comes in, but at the moment, still most of the competition comes in like individually from the B2B or B2C sector, but then we plan in the B2B, B2C together with the lifestyle sector to really build our stronghold of our fan base.
So has there been any other companies in the ballpark of what you guys are doing here in Hong Kong or just in general, like around the world?
I would say not that we can see in Hong Kong or in the Asia region, but then I'm not sure about the other side of the world.
Okay. And I have to ask, with all this experience and education, how old are you?
I'm actually in my mid to late 30s.
Mid to late 30s. Oh, wow. So you stacked up all that experience with Preface and then beforehand. Now you're in your mid 30s. What's the future like for Preface and yourself?
I would say I truly wish the vision of Preface because to really expand. Part of the reason is because the world is changing very quickly. The old curriculum or the old way of generating content will be too slow for the society to catch up. So that's why we hope that the Preface vision can really replicate to other places. But then there could be an exchange plan like the stock exchange plan for IPO. But then hopefully that will be a benchmark rather than the end.
Ah, I see. Interesting. And I want to know, has there been any like major challenges, like with COVID, for example? Did that affect you guys, or not so much because it was more tech based?
I would say yes and no. Yes, it affects us. Particularly with COVID, no one's go to work, so that's why that was a challenge to us for B2C and B2B. But then soon, because since our delivery could be online, so we pivot so that we do a little bit more online stuff. And I would say the good thing about the ecosystem is when COVID that hits, somehow particularly people no longer go to work, but then they go to coffee shop. So coffee shop business have been booming, and then and somehow kind of like balance out on each other.
Okay. And I want to know, I need to ask, what are your thoughts on cryptocurrency? What's your opinion?
I would say I think crypto has its future. I would say Web3 has its future. Um, for being decentralized, being faster, being validated. Just that it might not work in the previous wave is only because the players might not have been doing particularly good. Even though people try to give trust to NFT, try to give trust to some token, but then some players might not be able to execute. But then we have a strong belief in Web3. even when we generate our content, the reason that we can generate fast content is really because we make use of the blockchain technology. Every single piece of content is a smart contract to us. We build our validator. Why are we doing much faster than the traditional publisher? Because we decentralize the content building together with the validation process.
And other companies in Hong Kong, have they caught on as well and been using Web3 or not as much?
Still not as much at the moment, but then I can see that actually the local authority, the government would love to build Hong Kong to be one of the Web3 hub in the region.
And in comparison to mainland China, so just there versus Hong Kong, but technology, is there a big difference in terms of how much more advanced they are with their companies versus here in Hong Kong, or it just varies for a company?
I would say technology-wise, yes, definitely, particularly for companies in Shenzhen and GBA, they're better for real. And I think Hong Kong has its advantage of being an international city. So that from financial side, from capital market side, Hong Kong's local authorities and companies actually work very closely with the technology company in Shenzhen, so that we help them to raise funds, we help them to go overseas.
I see. Okay. Nice. And then lastly, I want to know one question from the last stranger. He asked you, when you had a failure or a mistake, something you made that maybe you regret in the past, business or just in general, if you had to go back and sort of change that mistake or whatever it may be, what would it be?
Well, may I get my answer to really say that I will still commit that mistake. Part of the reason is entrepreneurship is really a journey. So, and it's really a journey of I would say negative feedback mechanism. If I did something wrong, hopefully it was not super huge mistake, so that not enough to kill the project. So and I learn from it. So in the end, it's a journey, and it's difficult to avoid mistake, but rather to embrace mistake, but then don't indulge in it, but then to correct myself.
That's very interesting because I was talking about that with another person, and he was saying how the Chinese culture maybe different mindset around failure. They don't embrace it as much, but it's important because, like you're saying, it's a part of the journey. And maybe at the time when you made that mistake, you get down on yourself, but then you look back on it and you realize that it had to happen in order to get where you are today.
Yes, exactly. And then I would say it's also particularly the comparative advantage in Hong Kong, because it's a very crowded, small city, but then with a huge internationalized population. So that's why doing startup in Hong Kong, the good thing is a very good proof of concept location, because we get negative feedback real fast. As long as we calibrate fast again, then we can really build some real cool product to go global.
The last I want to know, what's one question you could ask for the next stranger?
Oh, questions for the next changer. I would say, how do you build your team? Because I would say building a strong team is actually, it could be difficult, because when company grow, how to maintain a dynamic, agile team together with more policy, more regulation, more coming in. So how to build teams and secure your team.
Okay, well, stay tuned for the next one. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me here, and we'll on to the next one. Thank you.